This wrinkled old man with white hair is a gangster, now 76 years old. He still exudes a heavy dose of tough testosterone. Jack is the patriarch of the New York Mafia. He served 25 years in prison for his gang. Today is the day he was released from prison. Looking out at the changes that have taken place, Jack's eyes are filled with wonder. The first thing he does when he gets out is go back to the gang. But the driver told him Division had arranged for him to go to a meeting at a villa out in the countryside. When he got there, Jack didn't enjoy the respect he once did. He waited a while before his men let Jack in. When he opened the door, there were people inside. On the opposite side was the mafia boss. On the right was his son. On the left was his grandson. Jack knew it was a bit of a hangman's banquet. The boss tells Jack to sit down and talk. And then his son opens up and says that everything has changed in 25 years. Everything here has nothing to do with Jack now. He wanted Jack to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma and set up a new banner for the gang there. That's a nice thing to say, but what they're really trying to do is banish Jack. Jack had been around all his life. He knew what that meant. He used to be the patriarch. Now he was just a useless old man to these people. Jack didn't say anything about it, but got up and went to the boss. Jack said to the boss, "I went to prison and then my daughter didn't speak to me for 18 years. And I've been keeping the gang's secrets for years, and now you're doing this to me. Now you got the balls that tell me that after everything I've been through, after everything I've lost, after everything I've done for this family, your family, fuck, there's nothing left for me." "Hey," heard Jack growl. The boss's grandson wasn't happy, but Jack told him, "Don't come over and interrupt when the adults are talking." After that, Jack punched him straight in the face and put him to sleep like a baby. When he was done, Jack didn't want to talk anymore. "It's just a banishment. I don't care. I'll just make my own way." And with that, Jack left. Soon he was in a city he had never been to before, Tulsa. Jack took a taxi. The two talked on the way to find a hotel. Tomas saw Jack in his suit. He looked tough and cool. He thought Jack looked like a gangster. Jack didn't say much, but told Thomas to stop the car. And Jack asked him what the place in front of him was for. Thomas said he sold flour and ran his own business, and there was no one here to take care of it. After Jack heard this, he took out some money and told Thomas to wait at the door. He wanted to go in and make some money first. How does a 76-year-old man collect protection money? Jack went straight to the counter. He was very polite in his manner. He asks the boy what this place is for. The guy tells him that if he wants to relax. He told him that if he wanted to relax, the products here would be great. Jack heard that it was a flower shop. Then he said straight away who the owner was and where he was. The feeling of oppression was so strong that the boy couldn't breathe. He probably peed his trousers. Jack turned around and asked the security guard to take him to the owner of the place. But what he didn't expect was for the security guard to pull out the pepper spray and tell Jack to get lost. Jack didn't say a word. He walked out of the shop with his hands up. But he wasn't just going to walk away. Anybody got the time. "All right, listen, mister, I told you." Oh my god. The boss came out after the security guard had fallen asleep. Seeing this scene, the boss also put his hands up in surrender. The boss thought he had met a robber. The woman next to him was so confused she started babbling. Jack told them not to panic. Just stay quiet. Then he told the owner that he wanted to see his account book. Due to Jack's intimidation, the owner showed Jack the bill. The little shop was currently making a profit of $1 million from selling flour. Jack asked him where the money was. The owner said it was all in the bank. Jack stomped his feet and said if he wanted to break a few bones before he told the truth, "I'd be happy to do that." The owner was a man of the world. Could he be so cowardly? He did. He dutifully opened the safe. It was full of cash. Jack looks at the money and says he'll come in every week from now on. He would take 20% of the profits. In exchange, he would protect the boss from the other gangs. The boss said to Jack, confused, "We don't have any gangs here." Jack smiled a little and said kindly, "I'm a gangster, aren't I?" With that, Jack went to the safe and took out several piles of cash. The boss was still confused. He asked Jack, "Are you just going to take it?" Jack asked the boss in return, "Do you see any problem with that?" Jack holds out his hand and asks, "Do we have a deal? Do I have any choice?" "Absolutely no." The boss then shook Jack's hand and agreed to work together. With that, Jack walked out with the money. Then he gave Thomas some of it. He told Thomas to go sell this piece of shit car and buy a Lincoln Navigator. Then he counted out another $2,000. He told Thomas it was a week's wages. From now on he would be his full-time driver. This made Thomas so happy that he couldn't stop talking, for he had made his first money. Jack found a random hotel. Then he asked Thomas to pick him up the next day at 10 o'clock in his new Lincoln. There was nothing to do in the evening, so Jack found a bar. Collecting protection money was just pocket money. He wanted to put down roots here. The entertainment industry was something Jack had to get involved in. He talked to the owners and customers. Jack basically had his bearings. The next morning at 10 a.m., Jack sat upright outside waiting for Thomas. But he didn't expect Thomas to arrive in a nanny car. He explained that he had sold the car, but when he went to buy a new car, the other guy looked like a poor punk. Not only did he refuse to sell it to him, he wanted to call the police and have himself arrested. When Jack heard that, he had to go there himself. When he arrived at Lincoln's 4S shop, Jack walked straight into the manager's office. The manager was on the phone. The manager looked at a man in a suit. He immediately asks what he can do for him in a friendly manner. Jack said straight away that my little brother was here to buy a car. You discriminate against him. I wear a suit and you think I'm a successful man. So, I need to teach you a lesson. I called it police, let me get the phone for you. Block Navigator for $50,000 cash. Okay. And then Jack drove off in style. Finally, Jack took Thomas back to the shop where the protection money was collected. The owner was in a state of shock when he saw him. Jack ignored him. He put a surveillance camera on the owner. Jack told him to install it later. Then Jack went inside. He told the boss he had to wash the money from the flower sale, or you'll get into trouble sooner or later.
There was no risk until you came on.
The boss was like an idiot. He thought money laundering meant taking it to the washing machine. Jack almost laughed when he heard that. How can a guy like that make money? In the end, Jack didn't say much. He knew that when the boss got into trouble, he would come to him. In the evening, Jack went back to the bar. He was talking to the barman when a beautiful woman came up behind him. She looked at Jack like he was a successful man. She wanted to take a picture with him, but to her surprise, the girl got a closed door. Jack turned around and within 2 minutes another girl came along. She wanted to invite Jack to their sister party. Jack asked Anna what kind of party they were having.
Sounds exciting, but I wouldn't really call that a party.
What do you call a party?
Jack took the babe straight to the dancer series. Jack punches the bartender with money and stops the harassment with his fists. The beautiful women from before take a look. This man is so manly too. She offered to get to know Jack better. Jack thought it would be nice to have someone to talk to, so they went back to the hotel. But after she had finished her shower, she found out that Jack was 76 years old. He was 55 years older than she was. She was shocked. She was a bit overwhelmed by this fact. She just wanted to get out of here. She apologized to Jack and said, "I've got some business to attend to. I've got to go." Jack could only laugh to himself at this. The next day, the local alcohol, tobacco and firearms board was in session. The higher-ups highlighted the arrival in Tulsa of a former mafia patriarch who had just been released from prison. He wanted everyone to keep an eye out for him. And when the woman looked at the photo, she was stunned. Isn't this the same guy she was dating yesterday? And at that moment Jack was just packing up his cash. He stood in front of the window and began his plan. From now on, this city and everything here will belong to me. This concludes the first episode of King of Tulsa. Stallone's work never fails to disappoint. Watch how Jack builds his criminal empire step by step.